new business item C up to this point in the agenda, so we can interview a candidate to fill the school board vacancy. That's all right? All right. Is our candidate available? Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. I should Damon, yes. And what we'll do is the superintendent is offered to give up his chair for the interview, so we can come up here and sit, and we'll
going home.
We'll make decided to go home for the evening.
Thank you.
So we don't have you sitting out there.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, we appreciate your interest in filling the vacancy, and we've all reviewed your letter and accompanying resume.
Thank you.
And at this point, I'll ask the board for questions of our candidate.
I think the only question I would have is, of course, I'm Jim Sullivan, on why you asking to be filled in, be a school board member for this interim.
Speak up, please.
I'm sorry, I will. Just wondering why you would like to serve as a school board member for the Hooksett School District.
My reason for serving as a school board member would be to provide whatever skill sets that I have to help the school district in the education of the students. Whatever they need to, remove obstacles in the way of higher learning and solve whatever, provide whatever assistance I can.
Anyone else?
Is there any topics of interest specifically that you have?
Specifically, I'm more interested in technology because that's more geared towards my line of work. So I believe that bringing technology in where the students are, we can advance them to be on par with some of the other countries even that have a lot of technology that's provided for them.
Any other questions?
I do have a question for the chair, if it's appropriate now.
Yep.
Seeing as we are only 2 meetings away from the candidates running, would it really be fair for us to appoint somebody at this time, giving them maybe an unfair advantage? That's my only concern. I don't know where the RSAs fall with this, but I did want to mention that.
Yep.
We do have a run this year, so I just wanted to be fair for them all.
Well, yeah, I understand. Maybe we'll complete the interview, and then we can we can make a determination after that. But no. Oh, I'm sorry, Tricia.
I have a question. Did you live in Hooksett at the time you homeschooled your 2 older children?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else? I was holding mine to the end. Of course, I was going to ask the same question. I guess we all had the same idea on why you wanted to serve. I've known Mr. Damon for a number of years. Haven't seen him for a while, but my only question, beyond what I've heard so far, is the time. I assume you're familiar with the time constraints associated with the board.
Yes.
We meet twice a month, first and third Tuesdays, and this time of year, especially with budget, it can get a little hectic. So, not really a question, but just wanted to make sure you were aware of the commitment.
Yes, I am.
Okay. Good. Anything else? This is our lone candidate at this point to fill the vacant board position. So I I thank you for your time, and,
Thank you very much.
all right.
Thank you.
Now, I would say at this point, we can deliberate and discuss, maybe you want to repeat or emphasize what you...
Right, I was just concerned that we're literally only 2 meetings away from the voting, and just giving anybody an unfair advantage to the run, will be a run. And I don't know where the RSA's fall on this. I don't know if we're required to appoint somebody, or if we can hold off. Because it does come up, also, I know it's on the agenda for the committees. And again, I was wondering, really should we wait until we have the full board after the elections
Okay.
to fill those?
I'll ask the superintendent. I know you've been through you've been through a few of these as part of, the Hooksett School District. Can you give us what the history has been? My assumption is that there's nothing in writing on this as far as timing, but maybe there is. But can you give us the history?
No, there's nothing in the statute that has a time constraint. It says when a vacancy exists, the board will make an appointment. And the two qualifications for appointment to a vacancy are that you be a resident and that you not be an employee of the school district. So there are no further, typically, across the 3 communities that make up the SAU, for various reasons, we've had vacancies on the board, and typically the person that does fill in the vacancy does run for that seat. In fact, it's required for that to happen. Even to finish our term, you do have to run. No prohibition against it in the statute. 2 qualifications: residency and not being an employee.
It is true in 12 years, there's been, I believe, at least 3 school board members who decided somewhere during their term to step down. And traditionally, the school board at that time has posted and interviewed interested candidates to fill out the remaining term. I'm not sure the extent of how close it was to the election, but clearly 2 meetings left is something that's usually I haven't seen. It's usually at least 4 months or at least a half a month. I think the last person who filled in for 6 months remaining on their term. My concern also is there are actually 2 seats up for March. There are 5 very interested citizens in the community who are wishing to run for a school board, and not to mention myself, but that's another story. But regardless, I think with just 2 weeks remaining, I think I think each candidate would certainly bring a unique perspective to the school board. But with only 2 meetings left, and not knowing the results and the wishes of the community, I was going to abstain from voting because in one way or another it could be construed as an endorsement of one candidate over the other 4 that are seeking that term. So I'm certainly pleased that we have 5 people running for the 2 vacancy, which is something I haven't seen for many years. 5 people running for school board seats in 1 year, but I would decline to appoint someone just for a 2-meeting term.
Anyone else? Before I jump in?
I'm concerned about giving an unfair, it looks like we're nodding one candidate over the other 5.
Okay, well, I'll tell you my feeling on it is that we have, regardless of the timing, you know, we have an obligation to fill a vacancy. And the fact that we only have 2 meetings, we really don't know what might transpire in the next 2 meetings. And for us to have a even number of board members where we could potentially be at a 2-2 makes me uncomfortable. Also, as far as the unfair advantage, I would say that every potential candidate had the same opportunity to come in and fill the vacancy and then subsequently run for the seat. So as far as an unfair advantage, I would say that there is no unfair advantage because they all had the same opportunity. So, but my primary reason is that I really do feel it's our obligation to fill it as quickly as we can. Of course, if we had a slew of candidates, I would say that you know, we would want to review each request in detail and of course give everyone an opportunity to speak. And then we would deliberate after that, and maybe timing-wise, it would push us out a little. But again, you know, Mr. Damon had the interest and took the time to put in his name, and I think we owe it to the board, we owe it to the district to move on. So that's my feelings on it. Any action from anyone? I know what I'd like to do is make a motion that we accept you know, Mr. Damon's request to be a member of the board. And I'll look for a second.
Point of order, I don't think the chair can make a motion according to Robert's rules.
I believe the chair can, according to Robert's rules.
I'll second the discussion.
Okay, discussion?
I stated how
Yeah,
I felt,
understood.
so.
Understood. Okay, all in favor of approving Mr. David Damon as the replacement for a vacant school board position, signify by saying aye. Aye? Opposed?
Opposed?
No.
All right. That's a 1-3 against. I thank you for your time. Appreciate you coming in. Okay.